Welcome back to the Circuit de la Sarthe as we get ready for the Hyperpole session for round 4 of the FIA World Endurance Championship, the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Well, we've just had one of our support races, the Michelin Le Mans Cup first race, Road to Le Mans, getting underway. But there are some barrier repairs which are being undertaken down on the run towards Indianapolis, the very fast kink down towards Indianapolis. There you can see the trucks are in place. Marshals are there as well, but crucially, the barrier repairs, looks like new lengths of barrier getting ready to go in. And you can see the track sweeper clearing up our operations as well. Martin Haven, Graham Goodwin and Anthony Davidson in the booth. Down in the pit lane, well, who knows? If it's raining, Louise Beckett's probably pushed Bruce Joanny out into the drizzle. But Anthony, there is just a little spot of rain in the air. The track was declared wet midway through the last support race. So it's not being shown as a wet track at the moment, which means that everybody can only go out on slick tyres, which is probably what they'd be hoping for. Let's talk about Hyperpole. One of the real features of qualifying at Le Mans, introduced a couple of years ago, and it's now part of every round of the World Endurance Championship, and it's a real opportunity for one driver in a limited number of cars to absolutely highlight their abilities.
It is. So the top 8 at Le Mans go through to Hyperpole from the open qualifying session that we had yesterday, where all of the cars, all 62 of them, were out on track. And like you say, it just brings that, or builds that crescendo to qualifying, gives the fans at the racetrack as well something extra, a spectacle. Because as great as qualifying is for a 24-hour race, it's not quite as important as a sprint race, but still, it's a great spectacle and something where all the teams and drivers who are involved in Hyperpole get to flex their muscles a bit and show how fast they really are on a circuit. Hopefully, because of those fewer cars out there, 8 of each category, we have the 3 categories here at Le Mans. Unlike the rest of the World Endurance Championship, we have the LMP2s here as well as the LMGT3s and, of course, the Hypercars that you're looking at on screen now. So 8 of each get out there and give it everything they've got in driving the cars at their fastest possible state they'll be. Low fuel, brand new tyres. Let's bring it.
Yeah, it should be 8 cars per class. We know one class that won't be, because the dramas late last night for the number 12 Hertz Team Jota car, they are in the process of building up effectively a new Porsche 963 out from a bare chassis. That's good news. That looks to me like a number 70 McLaren from Inception Racing ready to go. That was one car we were concerned about. The other car we're concerned about is in the other class, LMP2, the 65 Panis Racing car that took a hit in the last free practice session. So certainly no more than 7 hypercars to come in this. That process, by the way, of building up that car, we're told by Hertz Team Jota, normally would take 3 weeks. They're trying to do it in 24 hours and have been given dispensation to shake that car down on the airfield next door to the circuit, something which is not now often allowed under the rules of this race. It used to be in the past, no longer. This is the reason we're on a little bit of a hold. You can see just behind the white van and the white truck where the gap in the barriers is, where the damaged barriers has been removed, Martin.
Well, now, the session is not due to start until the top of the hour.
Yep.
We've come on air a little bit early, as we do with all of our sessions. So so we still have that, well, not quite 15 minutes now, but 11-minute window before the pit lane is due to open. So the marshals are working very hard indeed. And as you said, potentially 24 cars, 8 here at Le Mans. Normally it's 10 that go through from the 2 categories in all the other races, LMGT3 and Hypercar. But because we've got LMP2 here as well, it's 8 from each. And so the fastest car in qualifying, fastest 8 cars in qualifying, not from any particular brand, but just as they lined up, go through into Hyperpole. So it's not Hypercar, it's Hyperpole. And it's a short, sharp session. It's basically 1, maybe 2 quick laps. Now, of course, a quick lap on this track is 13, nearly 14 kilometers. So it's a long time spent. That's why the session is 30 minutes long. And you think, oh, well, you got loads of time. No, you haven't got loads of time in that. takes nearly 10 minutes just to get out and start the lap. So, yeah, Alex Lynn ready for the number 2 caddy. He, like everybody else, hoping this all goes well.
Now, Alex Lynn very much in the zone there, wasn't he? This is the Palace racing car, so they're racing to get that car out and into this session. Let's just go through who should be in this session when we finally get going. In Hypercar, fastest in qualifying was number 15 BMW. The number 3 Cadillac racing car, that one finished second in the order in qualifying. The 50 Ferrari, the 35 Alpine, the number 2 Cadillac, the 51 Ferrari, the 7 Porsche Penske Motorsport car, and then that Hertz Team Jota number 12 we know is not going to make it into the Hyperpole and will not be replaced by the wider Hyperpole.
Number 6 Porsche Penske car, because number 7 is the Toyota that didn't make it through, but yeah.
Sorry, 6 Porsche Penske car. They're the 7, including this this Cadillac. In LMP2, fastest in qualifying and into Hyperpole is the 37 Cool Racing Orica. The 14 AO by TF Spike, the LMP2 Dragon, will be in that session, as will the 23 United Autosports USA car. We hope the 65 Palace Racing car, that looks on the road to being completed in time. The 28 EDEX Sport, 10 Vector Sports, 33 DKR Engineering and 22 United Autosports cars, so both United cars in. Then it will be LMGT3. The 77 Proton Competition Mustang, the 70 Inception Racing McLaren, 82 TF Sport Corvette, the 60 Iron Lynx Lamborghini, the 92 Monsai Pure Racing Porsche, 27 Aston Martin, 66 JMW Ferrari, and the 777 D-Station Racing Aston Martin.
Right, confirmation that the session start has been delayed by 15 minutes. So not Puff the Magic Dragon, but Spike the Dragon. PJ Hyatt's kids love a bit of dinosaur, so his Porsche, which we saw racing last year, as Rexy, the T-Rex, with a green scaly livery and little T-Rex arms and legs on it and big toothy smile at the front. This year he's come back, not in GTE AM as he was last year, but in LMP2, and their LMP2 car with that purple dinosaur livery. Now this is the number 12 Hertz Team Jota car. Take a look at that. Obviously an absolute ground-up restoration from a bare tub with nothing attached. No screen, no suspension. I mean, possibly not much in the way of wiring in it either. So that is an enormous task.
That was a lot of cable ties on the front of that chassis, and just saw Will Stevens there looking over the shoulder, checking on progress. It's a long, long day and night ahead for them.
Well, you've got the whole wiring loom to put in, so hence the cable ties. You know, they need neatly putting in position, and you've got to be so careful with those cables. One false move, and that car's not a runner, especially as a hybrid car. Such a technical marvel, really, on these 4 wheels. These are high-speed computers on wheels. That you need to take time.
The other thing to say about the LMDH cars, and that is one of them, is they do not run if the hybrid is not functioning. So you can't have one that runs just on the engine alone. Without the hybrid operating, it will not run.
The other element of all of that, of course, is that we are 2 days away from Le Mans, 363 days into the planning. They've suddenly got to build an absolutely brand new car. I mean, everything's run very smoothly now through the season. Everything's run very smoothly up to and through test day and through scrutineering and everything else. And now, boom, an entire year's preparation is going to be done in 1 day and 1 night. That's utterly insane.
Sorry, Graham. Yeah, just before a 24-hour race, to be putting the mechanics through that. I mean, they have to do it, of course. They're going to be utterly destroyed even before the start of the race. Yeah. And yeah, absolutely not ideal. What a costly mistake it was last night. I didn't see it happen. I haven't seen any footage of it. I don't think it exists.
We didn't see it.
It does. It does. There's fan footage of it that exists. Goes skipping through the gravel trap on driver's right, and then there's an impact with the barrier on the inside just before Tête Rouge at an angle. That's what's done the damage.
So it's Callum Ilott, who did a brilliant job to get through to Hyperpole. Of course, we're not going to see him in Hyperpole now, but he definitely had the speed. The car looked good, and yeah, Callum just in the nighttime session just lost the, I guess, just lost the rear. Maybe you just venture onto the grass a bit on the outside, but usually that pulls the car to the outside before Tête Rouge. So I'm guessing he just lost the rear, and the car's spun towards the inside barrier. But such a huge mistake. Oh, you're showing me now, Graham. As we
Easily
look at the
done. Well, you look at that, and I'll talk about who's going to be driving these cars. In one of our categories, we know exactly who is going to qualify each of the cars, and that's this category, LMGT3. The rule in this category is each car must have a bronze-rated driver, and it must be the bronze-rated driver who qualifies. So, for instance, here, Inception Racing with their McLaren have been very quick all the way through, and it will be their bronze driver, Brendan Iribe, who will do the qualifying. In the other two categories, in LMP2 and in Hypercar, there is no such restriction. You don't have to qualify either A, your highest, or B, your lowest ranked driver, if there is any differential. Oh, in LMP2 you do?
In Pro-Am, you've got to qualify the bronze.
Yeah.
So we're going to have, and in Pro-Am, we have 4 of the 8 are Pro-Am cars. So it will be in AITF, PJ Hyatt, it will be Ben Keating, it will be Alexander Matchell, and it will be Rodrigo Salas.
Yep. So you can get them into it by the pro qualifying the car in open qualifying. Yep. Once you're in Hyperpole, I like that rule. You have to put your bronze driver in there.
Yep.
In the Pro-Am categories, at least.
So in the number 2 Cadillac, we think Alex Lynn. Number 3 Cadillac, I think without question, Sebastian Bourdais has just shone.
Yeah.
Just shone. Number 6 Porsche, I'd go Kevin Est in that one. Number 12 Hertz Team Jota, well, it's probably not going to go out at all. Dries van Toor is surely a shoe-in for the number 15 BMW. There's Kevin Est limbering up.
Well, if it's not Kevin Est, he's stalling it out.
Yeah, he certainly is. Alpine number 35. Paul-Luc Chatin or Mathieu Vaxivière?
Chatin has been really quick all week.
No Eduardo Freitas in a race director's chair.
Yet. He might be wanting to go out and look at this repair.
Well, that's exactly what I'm thinking. He was exactly as we saw in Spa.
No, he was walking away from the chair, looked up at the camera, and
right.
I suspect he's going to the course car to take a look. He would normally do that, and that will not be too much of a delay with this.
No.
It's like Spa all over again, isn't it, with Eduardo checking barriers that were getting repaired. Let's listen to hear what's going on at car 15. I didn't actually hear any team radio there at all.
I didn't get that either.
No. I got Bruce instead of the team radio, I'm afraid. But I can't believe it's going to be any other than Dries van Toor in that car. He's been absolutely on fire.
Either Sebastian Bourdais hasn't been told he's not qualifying, or he's making damn sure that he is qualifying.
I'm staying in here. I'm staying in here.
Mate, my turn.
How many times has Sebastian Bourdais qualified on pole here? I think he's qualified.
Did you qualify a Peugeot on pole? So if only we had a stat man, that's what we need. So, again, 77, Proton competition, Ryan Hardwick in the car. Be Hiroshi Koizumi, Alexander Malikin, Satoshi Hoshino, Brendan Iribe, Giacomo Petrobelli in the JMW 66. Wow. I mean, yeah, and Iron Link's Claudio Schiavone in the 60 car. But of course, because he's their bronze driver, and he is always the guy who qualifies the 60 car. And of course, the Iron Link's Ferrari got through, the Iron Dames did not.
It's a big damage which happened out there. As usual, Lisa will keep you posted so that everyone can understand and prepare themselves. And on top of that, it seems that the weather may change. So it's spicing up for a good qualifying session, a good Hyperpole.
Eduardo Freitas, not only a great race director, but a master of understatement. So Lisa will keep us informed, one of the two assistant race directors here this weekend. Eduardo leaves the chair, but does not leave the building during the 24 hours. I'm not sure Gelignite would get him out of the building. There's Claudio Schiavone, Mr. Iron Links.
So he's not like Elvis, after all.
Never leaves the building.
Never leaves the building. Claudio looking proudly on.
Rightly so. And actually, when they introduced this rule, it made so much sense, doesn't it? Because guys like Claudio, guys like Brendan Uribe here, the gentleman drivers, if you like, the bronze-rated drivers, predominantly, they're the guys that fund the whole show.
Absolutely right.
And they get to go out and qualify, not against an Alex Lynn and Sebastian Bourdais and you know, loads of superstars, against their peers in the GT class and in the Pro-Am LMP2s. And that's really important. You're against guys that basically are the same as you, just like all the platinum drivers in the pro cars are against other platinum drivers in the pro cars.
And rightly so, because, you know, they're, like you say, they're a lot of the time, quite often, paying for the privilege to be driving these very expensive, high-quality racing cars around this Circuit de la Sarthe here in Le Mans. And what a great experience it is for them. So I like the idea that they are out there in qualifying when the car feels at its best, when it's prepared meticulously to deliver the fastest lap times we're going to see this weekend, if it stays dry, with that caveat in place. And they should be allowed to feel the car when it's at its best. So, yeah, I like seeing them out there competing against each other on a level playing field. It's not like you've got a bronze who's versus a platinum driver. And I think that's, you know, the car crew relies heavily on the performance from the lowest graded driver a lot of the time.
Huge smile there on the face of Ben Barker, sticking his head in the. You know, he would love to do this. 24 cars only on the entire Le Mans circuit. The car as quick as it will ever be, in the fastest setup it will ever be. And he knows that Ryan Harwick in that 77 Mustang is going to have one heck of a time. This is money can't buy. You cannot get this. You can't hire this track. You can't do this. This is purely as part of being the bronze driver in these Pro-Am lineups. That is the only way that you guarantee you're going to get that drive. You can hear the drone overhead there, taking some shots of the pit lane. There's the number 6 car. And again, we heard from Bruce Rani in the pit lane at Porsche Penske Motorsport are confirming it will be Kevin Esch who qualifies that car. Only one will go, 2 in the end, because number 7 Toyota, which should have been in Hypercar, lost its times for bringing out a red flag at the end of the session. But only one of the 6 Porsches was fast enough to get through into Hypercar. That's really interesting.
We just check with the sister car. They are on the same plan as us. So medium, out, prepare, push. We have enough fuel to do out, prepare, push, put a second set of medium and do out, prepare, push, push. If we see that the medium is faster, we have also enough fuel to do out, prepare, push in medium the first run anyway, but then the second run we can do out, push, push with the soft.
So you get 2 sets of tyres for Hyperpole, and it's up to the teams. They choose. Unlike Formula One, where you're stipulated how many compounds you can run, it's different in sports cars. So you have to tell the tyre manufacturer what you want before you go to the circuit. You're free to use those compounds, all 28 sets over the course of the weekend, how you want. But in qualifying in Hyperpole, you're only allowed to use 2 sets. And in the race, you can use 14 sets. But any combination of any compound is up to the team's discretion. So it's a bit of a different rule to get your head around. But for now, let's focus on Hyperpole. This session, we're going to see that the team's running, and that's what that conversation was about there, down at Ferrari, 2 sets being used.
8 o'clock on a Thursday evening. Look how full this place is. If you don't think that all these hypercars, and particularly the F word, Ferrari, is bringing people to this track, then I've got a bridge I can sell you. And again, wherever you're watching around the world, if you're in Brazil, we are coming to you next to Sao Paulo. If you're in the US, we will be on the 1st of August racing in Austin, Texas.
Here and ready to go.
Yes, let's get ready. So go to ABS 8 and back to TC44 at the moment.
All sorts of preparation. We'll wait and see. To be confirmed what time this is going to get underway.
Yeah, session estimated to start now at 8:30. So Ryan Hardwick's out of the car. This is not, what do they call those light boards? Not tactile. He's playing slapsies with his son.
Is it the Batak? It's Batak machine, yeah.
He's playing slapsies with his son instead.
That's brilliant. What a great relationship. It's brilliant. You know, you bring the kids along and you properly get them involved there in the garage, bringing yourself on as well. And what a great thing to do with your child before they see you go out there and do battle in qualifying.
Yeah, but competitive dad, he not just wants to be on pole, he wants to win slapsies as well. Well, you know his son is going to grow up to be super competitive. With a dad like Ryan Hardwick, it's never going to be anything but. There's Marty Jakobsen in the Cool Racing Garage. We saw him in there during the Road to Le Mans race.
I think that was his daughter.
Oh, his daughter, was it? Okay, well, whatever. Apologies in which case.
There is the AO by TF car. This is Spike, the LMP2 Dragon. Latest addition to the fleet.
Yep.
After Rexy and Roxy, the dinosaur Porsches.
Matthias Besch doing a little bit of double social. Is that 3D then? I don't know. It's all going in there. There's the 65 Panis car. What a very different, very different livery.
Well, it's a very different effort this year. The previous squad that looked after this car handed over this program at the start of the season to TDS Racing.
And what a welcome stoppage this has been, or delay to qualifying for that team. Could well
have got them out of jail, couldn't it?
Well, it was going back together while the barriers were being repaired, but now it's looking absolutely ready to go. And of course, the name above the door remains the same. Olivier Panis is still there. And actually, we're going to see his former co-team owner this weekend, aren't we?
Fabien Barthez?
Yes.
Why?
Is he not flagging off the race?
No. It's Mbappe, isn't it? No, it's not Mbappe. It's the other guy. I'm not forgetting.
Barthez.
No, it's not Barthez.
I'm sorry, hang on a minute. Louise Beckett yelling from the back of the room because she's not in the pit lane because there's a danger of rain.
Zidane.
Louise?
It's Zidane.
Oh, Zinedine Zidane. Yes, it is, yeah. That's why I was asking who gets to kiss his head. Yeah, no, so it's nobody gets to kiss Zinedine Zidane. But they get to kiss Fabien Barthez.
Just have to hope he just headbutts someone off the podium.
Well, sorry, you just saw Larry Holt in the corner of the shot there, did you? Looking down into the garages. Actually, what would be really nice now is to go back to that camera shot we had of the Peugeot garage, because there was a couple of things at the front of the car I thought were really interesting. We saw both Peugeots all stripped out, and one of the things that now then, here we go. Yeah, drop the ball.
We got the big guns.
One of the things that was really interesting, I thought, was that you could see on the drive shafts at the front of the car the FIA-mandated torque sensors, which are used to measure the power output on all the hypercars. It is indeed Zinedine Zidane who will be waving the tricolor at the start of the race. And there's Bex, one of my neighbours. And that is the brains in the Penske Porsche PR department there, those two ladies. And here's a car that could easily be on pole position, very easily be on pole position. They managed to go to the very top of the times in qualifying with all 63 cars on track. I think there's a really good chance that the 15 BMW could be on pole. Now then, leading car is going out.
I suspect that might be the race director aboard that car.
Yeah. It may well be. Again, in Porsche Penske Motorsport, there is the Porsche part of the equation. All sorts of scribbling on pads going on. I'm painting a picture here for you. Anthony Davidson sniggering as he writes a funny note. Share it with the class, Davidson. If you can't share it, don't write it. Louise Beckett started all this.
Louise Beckett's been spotting celebrities in the paddock.
And since I'm the only person who's not privy to the note, I imagine that it's probably something that doesn't need repeating on air.
Well, we've already seen Fred Vasseur, haven't we, in the Ferrari garage?
Well, I saw him at lunch.
Was he serving again? It's an off weekend.
It's a job.
It's a second job.
Job,
That's what
mate.
it is.
Job.
Apparently, Pierre Gasly in the paddock a little early.
And was there a celebrity with him?
Oh dear me. Oh, Team Iceland back.
Very good. Very good. See, and you told me you knew nothing about football.
I know plenty about football.
There's a man kicking a ball, but that's apparently a good thing.
Hello, everybody. It is great to see the spirit here. Everybody waiting for the entertainment that's about to be unveiled in the next however many minutes it might be. We're told 2030. What I would say is the stack of metal retaining barriers, as I'm now being briefed to call them, is getting smaller every time we look at it. This is a good thing.
Which is indeed a good thing. Look how wrapped up against the cold everybody is. I spot one person in that grandstand in a t-shirt only. Everybody else here, fleece, coat, hats. You can leave the factor 50 at home. You know, advised everybody coming later, and Louise Beckett even later than that to the track, to bring as many warm bedclothes as they possibly could with them, because it's not been a warm week. Yeah, no, I know your heart bleeds for us. Oh, sorry, Anthony.
Well, I think in all seriousness, though, it's created a bit of a problem, a bit of a headache for the teams, because they had to choose their tyre allocation maybe a few weeks or months even before this race to allow Michelin, especially in the hypercar category, where they've got 3 options of compounds to choose. I think these cooler than expected temperatures have caused a bit of a problem in that we haven't seen one team yet run a hard compound of tyre since we've been here. So that obviously eats into your tyre allocation, your total of 28 sets for the week. Not one team run the hard. So they've had to limit. So far, we've seen teams only run 5 or 6 sets up to this point in the weekend so far.
And the point there is that because it was Scotio last year, they will have gone, we need hard tyres. It's not a hard compound, it just works on a hotter track surface. We have got nowhere near track temperatures where that tyre is going to be in its comfortable window. And we're not going to, probably, and it will get colder at night than much of the running they've done here. In the wee small hours, the softs will go on until the end of time, basically, because they just are, the track's going to be so frigid, and you're going to have to save the softs for the night time. You often would anyway, but here I think it's going to be absolutely de rigueur. So it's not balancing the number of your total tyres, it's balancing the few that you've got in your total that are actually suitable for the temperatures.
Chatan, that was indeed Paul Luke Chatan aboard the Alpine.
Being revved up.
If you have extra, when quality starts and I'm driving, if you have extra updates about weather, be brave in the radio, give me maximum info, okay? Give me more chances to think something.
That's Alex Malikin in the Pure Racing multi-car that's been dominant this season.
Presumably we're not getting the radio message where he asked where the heater controls are hidden in the sub-menus.
But I mean, you know, this is a really long track at 13.5 kilometers, 8 miles long. So you can very much have a section of the circuit completely wet and also completely dry. So he's saying whenever you see the radar or if the weather's coming in, let me know. I can pre-prepare my thoughts before I get to the corner, perhaps, if I know it's going to be okay or if it's going to be too wet.
Yeah.
So the weather is around. There is rain around in the area, but not here yet. But that could change very quickly as the session gets going.
Looking there inside the cockpit. Look how busy that is, even in a GT3 car.
So yeah, here we are. Like I mentioned, that clockwise 13.5-kilometer circuit. We've seen a lot of cars running wide into this first chicane, the Dunlop chicane, the tailwind blowing the cars into turn 2 as you turn left, and often running wide as a result and compromising the right-hander of 3. Down the Mulsanne straight, the next corner we look at here, turn 9. Mulsanne corner itself, almost a 90-degree right-hander after a long straight that leads into it. Very important to get that braking zone correct on a qualifying lap. And of course, Indianapolis as well is another one where you've got to feed the speed into the right-hander, slow it all down for the left. You brake whilst turning right and left all at the same time. Another important part of the track to absolutely maximise in qualifying. There's a lot of time to be won or lost around there. You continue on your way through the Porsche curves, and hopefully these barriers will be fixed in no time at all. And there is Pierre Gasly watching this. Well, we're about to see the action unfold here in Hyperpole. Is he wishing he'd be out there as well? Will we see him here one day?
Will we see him here next year?
Next year?
Well, with Alpine. Now that he's possibly out, who knows?
Well, no, it's Ocon, isn't it?
Ocon, but Pierre Gasly could come as well. You know, they could run a third car for Grand Prix
we'd love
drivers.
to do it. There's all sorts of
please.
There are all sorts of rumours about things about Alpine next year in sports car racing. It's not for this broadcast.
At least if you put them as teammates together in the same car in a hypercar, they wouldn't be on track together at the same time.
They can't blame each other.
Yes, I really did just say that.
He went there. He went there, ladies and gentlemen. Alessandro Pierguidi, so he's going to go and qualify the 51 car. I think it's slight possibility. Yes, T would be lovely, thank you. I think it's a slight possibility Antonio Fuoco might be in the number 50 car. And Alpine, brand new car this season, super impressed at how fast both cars in the team have been in free practice. Bruno Faman there holding his hands up. He was the head of Peugeot's last Le Mans program as well. So Bruno Faman, he brings a lot of experience. And then in the background, just turning away, Philippe Signot, the man who has been senior tech and has kept the Alpine flag flying. And in fact, the man who kicked the door down sufficiently often and with sufficient persuasion that Alpine did actually green light the hypercar program.
Yeah, he is, frankly, the reason we're here and talking about Alpine, because without the vision that he and a few loyal followers of that effort showed through, there is that Sophia Flörsch.
Yeah.
And, of course, a starter here at Le Mans just a few years ago.
Indeed. There's a great-looking helmet livery. Look at that. Ryan Hardwick's helmet with the car, that famous Le Mans road sign picture, which has been put onto the helmet. That is fantastic.
Ryan Hardwick there with a face that's saying, I'm not messing about. Okay? You think I was tough in business? Watch this.
That was Christian Reed there, giving him a little bit of a G-up as well.
Le Mans winner, of course, in class, Chris Reed, and stepped away after a record-breaking stints in WC and at Le Mans with his Proton Top competition team. So have a listen to 6 Porsche.
So, back in the car.
Copy. So now it's officially start at 8:30.
How is the rain looking? Still constant?
Yeah, same thing.
Okay.
So Hyperpole will start.
We should not get rain.
Okay.
How's the rain looking? Still constant? Well, no, that means it's still raining. What he actually meant was there is no rain due.
Fred Vasseur there. It's happily ensconced with the team that's won here.
Come to see how a Ferrari team wins things?
Yep.
Yep. But because, as in all other aspects of the sport, you do learn from other professionals and how they do things.
I will be pushed out lap already pretty strong. No thinking about tires saving, and first push lap already will be like very simple. I don't prepare tires, I just push.
Yeah, so he's talking about the compromise between if you push the tyres flat out, because obviously no tyre warmers here at Le Mans like the rest of the World Endurance Championship. So he doesn't want to go destroying the surface of the tyre, basically, if he pushes flat out before you get to the opening lap of qualifying. So that's the question he's just asked the team. So, you know, he wants to push and get the temperature into them, but at the same time not destroy them. So it's a good question. I'd love to have heard the answer from the team. You know, are you good to push or not?
So confirmed, Hyperpole will start bottom of this hour, 9 minutes before we get cars on track. Alex Malik in there in that 92 Porsche, red hot favourite in terms of the available pace from the bronze driver, but needs to get it right, needs to keep out of trouble, needs to be aware that this temperature is plummeting.
Temperature's gone down from 20 to 18 in the air. Track temperature is still 22 degrees, but 22 would have been 34 last year, 32 at the least. I mean, and it's only 10, Martin. That's a massive, massive difference.
A little girl spotting herself on the TV.
Daddy.
Spotted it before Dad did. Yeah. That's brilliant. That's wonderful. What a moment.
Yeah. And, yeah, you know, it might be worth taking a step or two back from the barriers if Alex Malikin is going out on a push lap. Be interested to see how that plays out, actually, because that might not be quite as...
Look at Alex.
Mick Schumacher he's chatting to. I can't quite see past Bruno Fama.
Just look at Alex Lynn a little moment ago in the zone. It was indeed Mick Schumacher. And his Stilo helmet. Great to see Marco Apicella in the paddock as one of the Stilo representatives here. What a great career he has behind him. In Europe and particularly in Japan. And looking after one of the famous brands that provides so much support, so much boost in terms of the safety standards nowadays.
A little update with Hertz team Jota. This car crashed at the end of free practice yesterday evening, having been promoted into, side pods are on, engine at the back there, having been promoted into Hyperpole because the number 7 Toyota was excluded. Kamui Kobayashi on a super hot lap dropped it into the gravel and got stuck in the Porsche curves, and that brought out the red flag. So Pierre Gasly, Mick Schumacher, so what's all this about? Oh mate, you should come and try it. You will have the time of your life. I think Mick Schumacher has possibly been quite surprised at how much fun this kind of long endurance racing stuff is.
Teammates for next year?
I think it would be phenomenal to see Alpine Grand Prix drivers racing Alpine cars at Le Mans. And when Alpine won, they were Alpine Renault Grand Prix drivers, Jean-Pierre Joussin driving the car. So,
frankly, I'll say it out loud just once. It'd be nice if Formula One accommodated the fact that some of these guys would like to do both.
Yeah.
Just this race. It would be nice to see that as a gesture to the fact what is happening in sports car racing has got real relevance. It's got real relevance to the technology of motoring right now, and it's got real relevance to the actual industry that makes this tick. Come on, guys. Let's get this opportunity together and let these guys at least have the option to do it if they wish to do it.
Well, we're struggling a little bit to do that even with Formula E, never mind the gorilla in the room that is Formula One. So we may not necessarily hold our breath, but yeah, Pierre Gasly will probably go away with maybe a little bit more of an idea of what Le Mans is. I think all Grand Prix drivers probably are aware of Le Mans, and not, particularly because Fernando Alonso did it for a couple of seasons with Toyota, and so there's that awareness of it, and the awareness that Ferrari are involved and all of that kind of stuff. And of course, Charles Leclerc was here last year as one of the honoured guests. So there is that understand it, or that knowledge of it, but I don't think there's a real understanding of it.
Okay, you're good to move to P2. P2, track is 4-5 degrees less, lower.
Good evening in the pit lane again. We estimate 5 minutes to start. We estimate 5 minutes to start. Cars may now be pushed to the working area. Cars may now be pushed to the working area. We estimate we may be able to go green at 8:30. The circuit is doing a great job. It was a massive repair. Let's see, there may be a delay of a few minutes. If that happens, that happens. Nevertheless, we will do our best to be ready to go out once we can.
Actually, Eduardo, just pick up on Eduardo, it was a massive repair. And for those of you who joined us since the start of the session, you have not seen how badly damaged the barriers were. Be really nice just to have a little replay of the shot of the barriers, because it was a big mess. Let's hear from the teams.
We'll be on the lookout for your calls as well. You see it fitting on the windshield. Let us know. You're our eyes out there. We cannot see the full track. You can, so let us know. Keep us informed if you see any rain.
They simply don't know whether or not we're going to see rain in this session. But I think that really does encapsulate it. They don't know what rain their driver's going to encounter. They're going to require the real-world evidence of what's on the screen.
Yes, if it's raining, let us know and we'll confirm for you. And often you will find...
Information to the pit lane, information to the pit lane. It is now delayed to...
He is hearing, even as he's speaking, from the marshals at the post or from the workers at the post, which is why he stopped mid-sentence to...
Okay, it will be at 35. The circuit has just confirmed to me it will be at 35. That's the estimation. Sometimes things don't go as we want. We will live that already.
Still a magnificent effort. I don't recall having seen a barrier at Le Mans that badly damaged in the history of ever.
I guesstimated 1 to 2 hours. They've done it in under one. And you know, they went at it like a swarm of worker bees, didn't they? Absolutely fantastic effort. So, who's gone through? Well, 2 of 3 Cadillacs, 2 of 6 Porsches, although only 1 will go out on track because Hertz Team Jota's number 12 car will not. 1 of the 2 BMWs, 1 of the 2 Alpines, and both of the Ferraris. Bruce Giuani reports from the pit lane that it is starting to rain. Now, the track has not yet been declared wet. Let's hear from the 92 team.
Lights cost power or not?
No, it does not cost power. It does not cost power. It's for free.
He's really getting to all the details, isn't he, Malikin? I like it. So he's asking, if I turn the lights on, am I going to have less power here? Because we often hear that the teams will turn off alternators to get more power. You'll definitely turn off your air conditioning system if you have that as well installed. The LMP2 cars have that, and some of the hypercars, not all of them, have air conditioning units. So that you can turn that off to get a little bit more power. So, you know, these are little tricks for qualifying when you're looking for just that extra little bit of performance. And for this circuit of such size, believe it or not, in a P2 car or a hypercar, 1 horsepower is a 10th a lap.
Wow. And that could make a big difference because we're looking potentially at hundreds. You can see there on the top left-hand corner of that track map, the rain, well, that is Dunlop Curve pit area and up towards Tertre Rouge. So it may already be sprinkling with rain. Now, until the race director declares it a wet track, you may not fit wet tyres. So right now, everybody is stuck on their softest slick tyre. You get an allocation of 8 tyres in addition to everything else you're allowed for the race weekend if your car goes through to Hyperpole. Now, again, didn't ask Pierre Alves the last time we had him in the booth whether those have to be pre-decided or whether they bring a selection based on the weather.
The weather look quite okay the next minute, so I would still go to the prep. Anyway, we will stay outside and update you. As the rain is coming from here, we should be the first one to see the drops. I will update you, but at the end of the out lap, if it stays like that, I would go for the prep.
Okay, let me know it before the...
We're under 5 minutes. We are under...
Yeah, sure.
Now, we heard already from the 51 car that they're going to do out, push, in, and then a second run out, push, in, and potentially They could do it on a hard tyre. I think that's unlikely because the track temperature is not even remotely anywhere near that window. So it's going to be a medium or, I don't know, potentially even a soft tyre. But they did talk about potentially swapping to a hard. So that suggests you're not going to go a 2 jump away from soft. Maybe softs aren't even available here. Maybe Michelin only have the hards. Don't forget, Michelin supplying the tyres in the hypercar category, and Goodyear supplying the cars to LMGT3 and also to LMP2.
Information to the pit lane. It's now confirmed at 35. It's now confirmed at 45. At 35. 35. We are under 4 minutes.
Barrier complete, and that is the best news of the evening. Well done, ladies and gentlemen of the circuit staff and indeed the marshals trackside. That was a huge job, a huge repair.
It just looks like 2 widths of barrier, but yeah, there was an awful lot of carnage that had to be sorted out first. Let's hear from Inception Racing.
Can you put Freddie on? I just wanted him to talk me through what he did on his outlap. Brendan, do you hear me? Copy. So, on the outlap, it's really important you get a lot of brake temperature in.
Yeah, the brake temperature is obviously going to feed into the air inside the tyre and help to heat the tyre up as well. No tyre warmers, hence why all the cars are just happily sitting there with no blankets on in the pit boxes. Makes no difference whether you're sitting in the garage or out in the pit lane.
Under 3 minutes. We are under 3 minutes.
That was Frederick Schandorf explaining his procedure to Brendan Reed.
Drivers of the need to respect track limits. It is Hyperpole.
We've seen lots of track limit infringements, of course, lots of penalties over the course of the week building up to this session in Hyperpole, so the drivers are fully aware. If you venture over all 4 wheels over the white line, same rule as in Formula 1, your lap time's going to get deleted.
Just saw BMW Team WRT's Thierry Tassin, another of the Belgian racing legends that formed the brains trust at WRT. One of their 2 hypercars made it through into Hyperpole, and it was the fastest lap set in qualifying.
Cars may now go to the fast lane. Cars may now go to the fast lane.
23 cars then will head out because there will only be 7 hypercars. The number 12 car, which did qualify for Hyperpole, being hastily or thoroughly rebuilt. Everybody else heading towards the pit exit.
So who do you fancy for this? Is it going to be Cadillac? Is it going to be Porsche, BMW, Alpine or Ferrari in Hypercar? Pretty certain it's going to be Orica in LMP2.
Well, we haven't seen anyone have a completely clear lap yet.
No.
So that's the beauty of Le Mans. You come to this point in the week and you're still come here with unanswered questions.
Absolutely. GT, it's between Aston Martin, Lamborghini, Ferrari, McLaren, Mustang in their 60th year. 1964 was the debut of the Ford Mustang in the marketplace.
1 minute, under 1 minute to open pit exit for Hyperpole.
And to complete the order, Corvette and Porsche. All the brands, all the time. Fantastic stuff.
My money's on Dries Van Toor. He's in that BMW. He was fastest in qualifying, and now there's no other traffic to dodge in and out of. I really like his chances.
According
30
to our
seconds.
forecast, he was
Under
going to stay
30
in the
seconds.
ride the next.
Okay, guys, you're going to have to stop doing pit radio. I know it's interesting, but Eduardo just jumps in all the time as you're now discovering.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hyperpole has started. Hyperpole has started.
Hyperpole session is underway. 30 minutes. 8 cars from each of the classes, though only 7 hypercars will go out, and already somebody's smoking up. Or was that a little bit of damp track? There is the number 15 BMW that was fastest of all in qualifying in the hands of Dries van Tor. And the deal is the top 8 cars go through into the shootout. That sorts out the top 8 places on the grid from 9th on down in yesterday's qualifying session in Hypercar, in LMP2 and in LMGT3. From 9th on down, that's where you start. That's where you'll find most of the Porsches, the other BMW, and almost everybody, including both Toyotas. So, no rain forecast for the next 15 minutes, which will take us through the first run, but you can see spots of water on the camera ends in the S's. Now, interesting on board here with Ryan Hardwick in the 77 Proton run Mustang. Not only has he got a big rear view mirror like a real car does, because it's got a rear window like a real car, but it also has the rear-facing camera that alerts him to what's coming. What looks like a mirror in the BMW of Dries van Tor is not a mirror, that's a big screen replaying the rear-facing camera. And Dries van Tor getting out after it right away.
All the teams, all the drivers there, they're being told, the drivers been told by the teams to warm up the tyres as best they can, but the drivers got that responsibility not to lean on the brake pedal too hard. The last thing you want to do is flat spot a cold set of tyres. You've got to treat them carefully, but also build up the temperature at the same time. It's easier said than done. And everyone's on tenterhooks here. You can see the anticipation down at Ferrari. The drivers there jostling for position, and you've got to spread out the field a little bit more. Way fewer cars out here now than we've had at any time over the course of the week so far. So you have time just to breathe a little bit and give yourself that gap.
But the problem is, if you wait 30 seconds, you might deny your driver an entire lap at the end of the stint, and that could make the difference of where you qualify.
Equally as well, if you've got a GT car in front of you, you really do have to get ahead of them before you open your lap up. But I've got a feeling it's going to come on the second lap probably, even though the size of this circuit speaks for itself. You're going to get the best lap on the second lap, and probably on that second set of tyres when your brakes are hot, and when you throw on that next set of tyres, immediately you get that heat soak pouring in to the air inside the tyres. So yeah, will the rain hold off though? That's the big question for that time allowance.
So this would be the banker anyway, but with the potential of rain in the air, it's really the banker lap. You have to get, not this lap, this is the out lap, you have to make this fast lap count.
2 points, Dries van Tor with an absolutely clear track in front of him. No sign of rain on any of the windscreens that we saw there. But, well, cat of heart tin roof, really. He's absolutely storming round to start the first flying lap of this 30-minute session. Already 3.5 minutes in, of course.
Yeah, he's warming the tyres up by basically being super aggressive with speed. Little weave there through the S's at the end of the Porsche curve, but yeah, Dries van Tor very much quicker. Here's how very much quicker. His second sector out from the pit lane, 84.6 seconds. The next fastest car, 87 and 88. Some of them are doing 90-second sectors there.
Here we go. This is the most tricky part of the lap for them as they enter this first chicane with cold tyres. It looks like he navigates it pretty cleanly, and the car's going to be getting grippier and grippier as he continues this lap. As we go on board with him, and you can see the understeer just building up through the mid-corner point there. The car looks nice and controlled, though, on the exit before Tetra Rouge. Feed the car into that one. Watch out for track limits on the exit there. That looked mighty close to me.
Yeah,
I'd like to see an off-board shot of that one, but these are the risks you're playing with on the qualifying lap in Hyperpole.
Yeah, Dries van Tor, the first man to start a hot lap in Hyperpole. 3 classes to watch, of course. And we will not see the number 12 Hertz Team Jota Hypercar out. So 7 cars in Hypercar, 8 in LMP2 and 8 in LMGT3. Now, he ran out wide beyond the white line, but there are certain corners where they are not being monitored specifically. And still, 22 degrees of track temperature.
3 cars and 32.7 through that first sector. fastest of all of them by thousandths is Dries Van Toor.
No,
now it's
fastest of all
Fuoco.
is Antonio Fuoco. So this is going to be a battle between the qualifying king of Ferrari, Antonio Fuoco, and potentially Dries Van Toor.
This is another part where they don't really look at the white line. Actually, it's the dotted line at the edge of the track on the exit of the second chicane, as now Dries Van Toor heads up towards Mulsanne corner.
And of course, it is a dotted line, and there's a dotted line in the centre, because this is public highway. This is not permanent racetrack. It's only 1 week a year that is the racetrack. So that's why it looks like a normal road, because actually it is. Now we're on, again, still public road.
Yeah, so this is a great part of the track. You've done Mulsanne corner, you see the Ferrari behind you as well, just squirming around, getting on power, and then you're flat out through the first of this triple right-hander. I'm just looking to see, no, there's no marks left on the circuit from it. It's not raining there either, so completely dry circuit as he heads up towards the right-hander of Indianapolis. I'd like to see the track action, please, not people staring at the track action. Here we go.
Both Ferraris are quicker. Fuoco is quicker, Pierre Guidi is quicker. They've got a purple sector apiece.
Pierre Guidi has got the advantage here. He's significantly quicker, half a second quicker, this teammate in the second sector here. It is advantage the 51 car.
Wow. That's just because he heard me talking up Antonio Fuoco as the qualifying king of Ferrari, which he has been so far. But Dries Van Toor, first man to complete a lap. Let's see how clean he is. Yeah, Thierry Tassin doesn't want to see us watching him either.
And that sounded flat to me, that second left-hander of the Porsche curves. Nice and grippy at this stage, flicks the car in. This is where Kobayashi spun the car into the gravel yesterday in qualifying. That's why he's not in Hyperpole. He had the speed to be, but he got that corner wrong. You take a little bit of extra circuit before the final fourth chicane here. Don't overdo it around that final left. And now it's the final right-hander. He just clips the inside curb, but the car seems to take it okay.
Listen to the crowd as he's coming across the line. They're roaring him on. Dries Van Toor, the first lap, 3 minutes 26.7. But both Ferraris go quicker. Antonio Fuoco and then Alessandro Pierre Guidi, 3:26.1, 6/10 quicker than Dries Van Toor, and Sebastian Bourdais' first effort is 3.3 seconds back.
And there's no need, of course, in the hypercar category where you've got hybrid engines to reboost and top up your battery level. You can keep pushing.
LMP2, Matthias Besch fastest ahead of Job van Uyten at the moment. Caddy's Alex Lynn comes through 6th in Hyperpole, in Hypercar rather.
Delatraz the top in P2. He goes through in the Airways car in a 3:35.620.
Ben Hanley very quick, and Malte Jakobsen as well just comes up behind, but Louis Delatraz remains on top.
Half a tenth behind Louis Delatraz, Malte Jakobsen. This one's going to be lit as well.
Yeah, there's the Cool Racing team. His teammates watching.
Pierre Guidi has been pinged for track limits in Sector 1 on this current lap. Fuoco did hold on to the fastest first sector, but Alex Lynn has robbed him of that in Sector 1 as he passes through.
Well, don't forget, we heard them talking in the 51 Ferrari team, out, push, in. So this is his in lap, but he wants to keep the temperature in the brakes. And that will help him if he's then going straight back out. Alex Malikin is fastest of all. So his out push lap, he still had enough tyre left for a push lap as well.
7/10 ahead of Giacomo Petrobelli in the JMW Motorsport car, the 92 Porsche. It is still AO by TF in LMP2 from Cool Racing. Manti Pure Racing from JMW Motorsports in LMGT3, and it's Ferrari 51 from 50 for the overall pole position.
Yeah, Giacomo Petrobelli second for JMW Motorsport, Ryan Hardwick third in that Proton Mustang, and Antonio Fuoco on another push lap, so he is doubling up on this, but Pierre Guidi, his second sector is not as quick. 51 is doing one push lap on this one. Looks like he's going to make time for 2 push laps on the next set.
Interestingly, the number 15, so Dries Van Toor, is on the soft set, and both Ferraris on the medium compound.
Alex Lynn, fastest of all in the first sector. Outright purple in the first sector, a quick second sector as well.
Not enough at this point, and he's got traffic ahead, I think, with LMP2 cars ahead of him on the run down to Indianapolis.
Lynn currently 6th, as you can see, in Hypercar.
Here we go, though, riding on board with last year's Hyperpole pole position holder, Fuoco, as he enters the Porsche curves. He's up pretty comprehensively at this stage.
Now, only 6 Hypercars there. There will only be 7, and the Alpine has yet to set a quick time.
You can close this lap and beat their time. We need better than 26.1.
I think we're going to see better than 26.1, as he's currently almost 3.5 tenths up on the best time set. How's this final couple of corners going to go? The rear just moving ever so slightly in that final left-hand corner.
And Bourdais as well, looking to go second. He's 2 tenths ahead of the fastest time up until now. Fuoco on top of the pile. Bourdais looking to go 4th to 2nd. The man from Le Mans. He goes top. Wow, by 3 tenths. That's epic. There's Laura Wantrop-Klaus, the head of GM's racing programs.
Fantastic lap from Sebastian Bourdais, and on the medium tyre as well. So like for like, there's no differences there for Cadillac versus Ferrari. This is going to be a great showdown.
Alex Lynn goes 3rd. It's Caddy 1-3 now. So Cadillac 1st and 3rd. They've been the surprise package here. They're bringing it.
Yeah, Ferrari 2nd and 4th, and Alpine in 6th place behind Kevin Eschger's Porsche, but ahead of the caddy of Alex Lynn.
Alex Lynn loses the lap to track limits.
Yep. So LMP2, Louis Delatraz fastest from Malte Jakobsen. Ben Handley goes 3rd in the 23 for United Autosports. And it's Manthey Pure Racing from JMW and Proton Competition, with D-Station Satoshi Hoshino in 4th place in LMGT3 in the Aston. Here is the Inception car.
No, this is JMW's Ferrari 66.
This is the JMW Ferrari, yeah, Giacomo Petrobelli. So, was 7 tenths back, but 4 tenths up on the best time. Wow.
Bourdais is 3 tenths quicker again on this lap in his first sector.
Well, absolutely flying.
Petrobelli is chasing the white car, the Manthey Pure Racing car, and is going quicker and goes fastest by nearly 4 tenths.
And you'd expect this from the bronze drivers, wouldn't you? As they do more laps, they're going to be getting quicker and quicker. We see this all the time in the other World Endurance races where the bronze drivers have to qualify.
But Alex Malikin did not go faster in that white Pure Racing Manthey Porsche because he burned up his tyres on the opening lap.
Brendan Aribe goes to the top. It's McLaren at the top with Inception Racing. Sebastian Bourdais is on an absolutely titanic lap right now.
How's he doing this? He's just gone fastest on his 2nd flying lap, and he's going faster again on his 3rd flying lap.
Here we go then, into Indianapolis, straighten the car up for that braking into the left-hander of turn 11. The rear's really fighting him, but he's got it under control there before Arnage. Slowest corner on the track, down in 1st gear, and look at the concentration on his eyes. He looks down briefly to the steering wheel. He's looking at what we're looking at, the split times. He can see the real delta time versus his fastest lap of all at the moment, which tops the timesheet. He's 3 tenths up on that time as it stands by the 2nd sector, as you can see on the bottom of your page here.
And look, he lost only 7 thousandths in the 2nd sector to the previous margin.
We have no telemetry. If you're up on the delta, keep going.
And that's what he was looking at. He was looking at the delta, so he's monitoring this himself. Will he pull into the pits or not? No, he doesn't, so that means he's up.
Could it be a 324? He's on course to get a 324. Almost loses the rear end of the car in the first element there. The full chicane, here he comes.
That looked nice to me. What's it going to be as he crosses the line? A further improvement.
24.8.
Nice.
My goodness.
Fabulous stuff from Sebastian Bourdais.
3 push laps. Not 1 like the 51 Ferrari. 3 push laps.
Chatin goes 4th for Alpine at this stage. Where's that come from?
Well, they were 5th and 6th in free practice. They're quick.
I think they've got to do more laps. Clearly, Ferrari, I think, came into the pits too early, and they got the other set of tyres hovering around the car now. They look like they're just about to go on as 51 gets pushed back, and they'll be on their way. I think that's a bit of a giveaway there from Bourdais, isn't it? You can do more than just the 2 push laps to get your times.
Pierre Guidi did 1 push lap and in.
No.
Fuoco did 2 and in.
Nowhere near enough for Pierre Guidi.
Wow, and that's because they're on the medium tyre, which needs more time, clearly, to warm up. Oh, DKR lose that lap, but are still 8th.
We're still only halfway through this session. Lawrence Hurt has only had 1 timed lap. He's lost all the rest of them to track limits.
Well, the worst that can happen is that he'll be 8th. So,
Riding on board with Uribe here, so he's topping the timesheets at the moment in LMGT3. Into Arnaud, a little bit wide there, though.
But let's remind ourselves, this was a car that had a fire about 2 hours ago.
yes.
And now he's on fire.
Oh, I see what you did there. Stop it.
I'll leave that kind of corny stuff to you.
Well, not while we've got David Addison on the strength. That's definitely right up his... it's 7 tenths up, 8 tenths up, 797. What? Again, even in LMGT3, more laps, more speed.
It's not done yet. Antonio Fuoco won't. He doesn't like it up him. That's what it's not going to go down well with Ferrari. That is stupendous stuff, though, from Sebastian Bourdais, putting it down there on his home track, not Caddy's home track, but by far the best performance we've seen in this campaign so far.
Hey, 1 more flying lap. P1, 1 more flying lap.
Anyone want a flying lap? I tell you what,
oh no! He was up. He was way up as well. He was way up.
8 tenths up, and he lost it in the final call. Okay, come into the pit lane. That's fine. First gear, off you go. Get going.
Well, I don't think it will be fine to come into the pit lane from that.
No, he can't from there, but he's got to get round as quickly as he can. He's got just under 13 minutes, so a fraction under half the session. He can't spend too much time recovering from this spin.
Sorry, I thought you meant he was just going to duck her through there and come into the pit. You're not allowed to do that. You will get a penalty.
He's already away. He's already away. He's fine.
Yeah, he's on his way. So he might not get a 3rd push lap. On the other hand, he might. Because, of course, don't forget, you only have to start your lap as the checkered flag comes out, not finish it. So what about... It's the weight of my expectations that's weighing down the BMW of Gilles Vanthoor, isn't it? Where is he? Down in 6th, 1.8 off.
I just wonder with the BMW's tyre strategy whether it's the right thing with the soft tyre to start off with. They're now on the mediums.
Okay, for information, the best lap on the others on medium was on lap 2 or lap 3. Best lap is 24.8 at the minute, 24.8.
Now, again, I don't know what the allocation is, whether you can choose or whether you're given a set of each by Michelin, who might perhaps have been hedging their bets when they were building the tyres for this race, that if it's cold, they're going to need a medium, but if it's really hot, they're going to need a hard, but we don't want to take a hard for this, so...
And there'll be people wondering, well, why wouldn't you put the soft tyre on? Surely it'd be a better mix for this track, you know, in cooler conditions, but it's a high-speed track. You need the stability. It's a bit like putting stiffer springs on your car. On a high-speed circuit, it's going to pay dividends, and that's what a tyre that's stiffer in construction as well will give you. It's not just softer, harder in terms of compound, it's the actual construction as well that can be different and works in different temperatures. This track, it's a bit like Spa and Silverstone. You look for slightly harder compounds to get the best times from it. Otherwise, the car moves around a bit too much and feels a bit too soft under you. And I feel like that's maybe what happened to Vanthoor before in car 15.
And that's why his warm-up was so quick.
There is not going to be time to do a prep lap, so it's going to have to come straight after the out lap.
The automatic reply to which is, I got this. He has so got this. He doesn't need a prep lap. He'll go an out lap and he'll push until the checkered flag.
Let's wait for to see what Ferrari can do.
Improvement from Lawrence Hurt in LMP2, moves up from 8th to 5th in the DKR engineering car.
Can I just point out that Bourdais has left the pit lane on the same lap as both Ferraris.
The rest of the lap, you're untouchable. You're doing a great job the rest of the lap. Arnage, brake earlier, better exit. Final chicane, use more of the apex curve.
That's Ollie Milroy.
And I love this relationship between the engineers and the bronze driver. You really need to coach them more through the lap.
That's his silver driver.
That's Ollie Milroy, that's his driver coach.
Well, even better then that you're getting that information from somebody that knows exactly how to do it.
Crunching the data, looking where the improvement can come. Here's where the threat comes to the potential pole position from Inception Racing and from McLaren on their return to Le Mans as a brand for the first time since the last century.
Look at the gaps in LMGT3. Inception 4 tenths ahead of Manthey Pure Racing. That's the yellow and white Porsche. JMW, one race this season, it'll be here. They're 6 tenths back. Proton in 4th, over a second behind.
Yeah.
So there's a big gap between the top 3 and Ryan Hardwick's 77 Mustang.
Loads of purple sectors you can see there on the screen for the LMP2 drivers. As the track, I feel, continues to improve and drivers getting more and more out of their machinery as well.
Patrick Pilet and Malte Jakobsen a thousandth apart in that first sector.
Yeah, they're not really trying, are they? And Joop van Uyten also in there as well, 16 thousandths ahead of the current fastest time, but yeah, Malte Jakobsen we're looking at here, and Patrick Pilet in the number 10 Vector Sport car, both over 22 hundredths up.
8.5 minutes to go in the session. Fuoco is up in the first sector on his previous best, still slightly outside the bogey time for pole position.
Brendan Arribas made it into the pit lane already in that Inception Racing McLaren, but Alex Malikin, Giacomo Petrobelli, Ryan Hardwick and Ian James, who are in order 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th in LMGT3, have already left, and there's trouble for the BMW. And that is going to bring out a local yellow for Dries Van Tor. And is that his outlap? No, it's not. That's a push lap as well.
Look at Fuoco, and that's going to ruin his lap, I'm afraid. It's a red flag.
Right, clock stops.
And it was a time that Fuoco was up on the pole position time.
Now, here's a question. Kobayashi caused a red flag going off the circuit yesterday in general qualifying. That's why we're not seeing him in Hyperpole today,
Correct.
because all of his lap times were deleted for causing the red flag.
All of his times in qualifying in that session were deleted. All of the times in this session will be deleted. He'll start 8th rather than 7th. I would think that probably, no, because number 12 didn't go out at all. He'll start 7th, number 12 will start 8th.
This is why we highlighted the corner on the track map at the start of the session, because Indianapolis can really catch you out. If you lock a wheel, you can see literally no room for error.
Effectively the same corner, same error that he made in night qualifying, or night practice rather, last night, but that is game over, I'm afraid, for Dries Van Tor. He will be no better than 6th.
7th. Because number 12 car doesn't set a time, I think they're automatically 8th. So if he loses all his times, he did at least go out in the session, I'd say he'd be 7th.
He could lose just his best time.
Red flag cost Kamui Kobayashi all his times in the session.
Okay, that's the change this year then.
Yeah. So, well now, how's that affect? Brendan Aribe was just leaving the pit lane, so has not put any heat into those tyres. Some of the others had, but of course, everybody's going to lose the heat that they've got in the tyres, and they're going to lose the heat in the brakes. 7 minutes, 40 seconds. It's going to take them the better part of 5 minutes to do an outlap.
What happened, mate? All good? Okay, mate, just follow the marshal instructions and keep me posted when they come at you, and when you leave the car, please remember to put P0. Okay, you also need to put neutral, please, neutral.
It's going to be one flying lap, isn't it, after this?
Yeah, P0 is the message to the driver to turn the car off completely. So you lose all electrics, you lose communication with your team at that point. So before you do that, to put the car into neutral and just to follow the marshal's instructions. If they tell you to get out of the car, you have to get out of the car and you walk away. But so far, he's staying in it. Obviously, you can restart the engines and get going again, but yeah.
It was quite a big bump, that.
Yeah, and he's caused the red flag. Your lap times will be gone.
Well, also, he can't continue, so he would, even if he was put back on terra firma and the car ran, he'd just drive straight into the pit lane and park. So,
exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that really affected our viewing pleasure as well, didn't it? Because Fuoco, like you said, Graham, personal best in the first sector, fastest of all in the second sector. We said don't discount him, and he was really setting those times alive. And, yeah, it looks like that car is getting craned away back onto the track, maybe?
Yeah, probably, because that's the quickest way to get it back. There's Lawrence Vantor, his brother, so watching Dries. There's Thierry Tassin on the radio and listening to us as well, probably. Sorry for interrupting. Well,
Instantly becomes a favourite sibling.
Sebastian Bourdais still nearly 8 tenths up. And Ferrari, who had tyres and time to do 2 push laps but sat in the pit lane, I think they've blown it. Because Bourdais was on an outlap at the same time that both Ferraris were on an outlap. 51 only did 1 push lap, 50 did 2 push laps, the Caddy did 3 push laps, and yet they were all on an outlap at the same time. I think Ferrari blew that.
The only other thing to add there is, of course, you can only use 2 sets of tyres in this session. So if you've taken the best out of those tyres on that push lap from Fuoco, it may be game over.
Yeah.
I fear he might have taken the best out of them, like you say, but I can't. I don't. Yes, yeah, maybe a bit harsh to criticise the strategy.
No, why are you sitting in the pit lane?
Because you're waiting for the track to be at its best at the end. We saw it's improving the whole time. You saw the LMP2s out there improving as well. The circuit's getting better and better. The more new tyres that get thrown on the cars, you get more rubber down, and the track will improve.
Good job so far. So again, it's going to be easier for you to push on the first flying lap and only flying lap. The tires are going to be much hotter. Everything is going to be good to go. You got this.
It's quite an advantage actually for the cars still out on track, making their way back in, because you can be weaving around, keeping the heat in the tyres the best you can.
Exactly right. And Brendan had only just left the pit lane. Of course, the guys that are on a push lap would also still have been hot, but they're coming in much earlier, and you're absolutely right. That heat is going to dissipate. I mean, it's not warm outside. That heat's going in a hurry.
He's going to arrive in the pit lane, and then basically as soon as he gets to the end of the queue of cars, I'm sure they'll put the green light on and away they'll go again. Listen to car 3.
Result, boys. Congratulations. It was a pleasure to drive this car, and we get it. We don't. We still did the job. So now we can focus on going racing. Thanks very much.
So car 3.
Yeah, I think you said that was a fantastic lap. We'll see if it sticks. Whatever the case, we're in it for the show.
Yeah, so car 3, clearly, that's their qualifying done in the Hyperpole. Hopefully the time's fast enough, and that's what he said. Whatever happens now, cracking job by everyone. Thank you very much, and a brilliant job by himself as well, Sebastian Bourdais, local boy here at Le Mans.
Would say, by the way, if this stays, it will be his second pole position at Le Mans. Set pole position back in 2010 for Peugeot.
I guess it would be a Peugeot.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, 100%. That came, by the way, after 3 consecutive pole positions by Stefan Sarrazin.
I should have remembered that because I was there in the team, though. I've wiped it from my mind. That's what a top athlete does in this game. You just wipe it from your like, yeah, you don't carry the negatives.
Right, the question is, do Ferrari have the pace in a 1 push lap outing? They didn't on 1 push lap in the first set of tyres. Will they in the second set? There's Sebastian Bourdais. The Le Mans resident is out of the car.
And he's not smiling just yet, because would you, if you've just seen those times from Antonio Fuoco? Has he taken too much out of the tyres? How much extra speed has that Ferrari got in it?
Well, look, Bourdais still has the fastest sector time of anyone in Sector 1 and Sector 3, and Fuoco only has the faster sector time in Sector 2 by 3 tenths. That's not enough. Even if he matches Seb's best first and second sector time, 3 tenths in the middle is not going to be enough, because he's 7 tenths back, nearly 8 tenths back. And he's got to do it in one lap with no safety net. Now, of course, that's what drivers love in qualifying. That's what Hyperpole's all about, the high wire act. But boy, however this ends, Paulo is going to be on the front page of Le Mans, the local newspaper, in the morning.
Well,
there's his dad in the burgundy jacket and the cap. That's Patrick Bourdais. And the rest of the family here as well.
You just, I don't know,
Pit exit is now open. Pit exit is now open. Session has been resumed.
I'll just be saying to everyone congratulating me and patting me on the back and taking photos, I'll just be saying, let's celebrate when the checker flag comes out. And I've seen what Ferrari are going to do. And there they go. That's the back end of one of the Ferraris leaving right now. And there's the other one. They mean business. They got 7 minutes, 20 seconds to do it.
Yep, 10 minutes we will know who's on pole. Because it might not be at the end of the time. They could just be set, maybe, no, they won't get a second push lap, will they? Bruce Ioanni is in the pit lane. Bruce, what do you know?
Well, the fact is Sebastian can't go out anymore because he has got no more fuel in the car to do any extra laps.
All right, that is very good.
So 51 will push a lot the outlap. Try to do 2 push.
Try to do 2 push laps. Okay, so 3 minutes 25 out of 6 minutes 40 leaves you with 3 minutes 12 to do the outlap, 3 minutes 11 to make it round and get another one. Ooh, boy.
And we just saw the graphic on the right-hand side of your screen with the energy levels remaining, i.e. the fuel mostly remaining, because of course they count the electrical energy as part of that combination. And it looked to me like they've got enough easily to do those 2 push laps if they can make it round in time.
Because they've done no laps.
No, indeed.
Well, Bourdais had done 6, Fuoco has done 6, Pierre Guidi's only done 5. Kevin Esch in the Penske Porsche, number 6, has done 7 already and is going back out to do another 3. Hang on a second, let's hear from Bruce.
Yeah, it is unsure at Ferrari whether they're going to be able to do 2 laps, as you probably heard, you guys, but 1 lap for sure, maybe 2 laps, but apparently they've got enough fuel for only 1 lap at Ferrari. I'm not sure on which car though, Fuoco for sure.
Wow. Okay, let's hear from the team.
51 will go by. They will push hard to do 2 push laps. We do 1 out push box.
Okay, so that's the radio to Fuoco. 51. Your outlap, you're gently warming the tyre up to get the best out of it for a second time. It's going to have to be within 3 seconds of your fastest qualifying time. Now, they're saying to Antonio Fuoco, 51 will go by. If I'm Fuoco, he flipping well won't, because I want clear track. I don't care about...
He's such a team player, Mark.
I don't care about him. This is qualifying. This is mano a mano. What, you want me to slow down to give him a second try because they sat in the pit lane for another 3 minutes? No.
Before we get into the hypercar dramas, just the other 2 classes. If Inception Racing retain pole position LMGT3, it will be a first ever pole position any class for McLaren. If AO by TF retain pole position LMP2, it will be... Well, listen, just 1 second to what's going on inside with Antonio Fuoco.
You can let 51 go, they will do 2 push.
Oh, radio silence. He was listening to you instead, Martin. He's not letting him by, surely.
Would you?
If AO by TF take pole position in LMP2, it will be the first ever pole position at the Le Mans 24 Hours by a fantasy animal.
Very good. And on that note, no, he's not going to let him by. Why would you?
Well, he let him by on the next lap after he's finished his fast lap. So when he comes back around this part here, well, he'll be into the pit lane anyway, so you let him past at the end when you cross the line. So let's focus on this. Fuoco into turn 1. You lift and coast a little bit into turn 2. Get the line right. Uses a lot of curb there. Actually, he's off the track. He's blown it. He's gone on the inside. He's gone completely all 4 wheels over the white line on the inside of turn 3. I'm sure I saw that real time that he's gone off there. I'd love to see a replay of that one. I'm pretty sure he was on there. Exactly. He knew he'd done it, so he pulls over anyway.
He's bailed.
Done. Didn't have the grip in turn 2, ran out too wide, launched it over the inside curb anyway, regardless in turn 3 off the track. So that lap time would have been deleted anyway. Now we ride, well, momentarily on board with Pierre Guidi. So one down. Right, Laura Wontrop-Klauser.
Pierre Guidi's first sector is 0.34 slower than Sebastian Bourdais' qualifying first sector.
Yeah.
So 0.34, there you see. So he's already behind. Right. Car 50 asked on the radio if he could do another lap. He was told no, 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 box, box, box. Is the track damp here?
No, it's just they've been sitting in the pit lane and they're on cold tyres, so it will be if the tyre life has got
a little shiny.
If the tyre life's got enough left in it for car 51, it will be on their second push lap.
It's not going to be this push lap. They're not quick enough. As we watch the 50.
So I lost the rear just slightly. I couldn't see it from the overhead shot before, and that's why he ran out so wide out of 2. Nice Jim Clark moment, well done. But it's not the fastest way in modern machinery, I'm afraid.
One car that is not going to be on pole position in LMP2 is the Cool Racing 37. They have not left pit lane. Neither has DCAR Engineering.
Second sector comes up on the exit of this corner here. Mulsanne, I'm pretty sure it's not going to be competitive. Still hanging on to those 3/10 though, down on the fastest lap so far.
Which would put him up to second, of course. Will put him ahead of the 50 car.
Okay, so let's see, with the tyres warming up all the time, what can he do in that third sector?
Minute and 40 seconds, under a minute and 40 seconds to start his next lap. It's not this lap. For final sector, the fastest final sector of the lap, of qualifying, is 93.3 seconds. There are 78 on the clock at the moment. And that is from Mulsanne corner. This is going to be within a couple of seconds of the checkered flag.
Tense scenes down at Ferrari. What's this third sector going to be like? If it's faster than Bourdais, then it's game on for the next lap, because it shows that the car is getting there.
It doesn't even matter. He's just got to get to the checkered flag, and then he's got one push lap.
50 seconds. He's at the Porsche curbs already. His cars are faster than you give him credit for, Martin.
Challenge from Porsche LMGT3 falls victim to track limits. That has nailed in more of a possibility for McLaren to take their first ever pole position in LMGT3. Here, though, comes Alessandro Pierre Guidi in the 51 car.
Did he improve on that 3/10 away by the time he gets to that final split?
Chatin goes third. Chatin goes third.
Wow. No, fourth.
Fourth now because Pierre Guidi's gone second.
Wow. So they are still half a second away. This has to be super special from Alessandro Pierre Guidi.
But critically, he was a tenth slower in the final sector than Bourdais' best.
Delatraz stays on top of the pile, but improves by AO by TF. And now Edek Sport, Joop van Uyten grabs pole at the flag.
Alex Lynn.
And Delatraz takes it back.
Alex Lynn, fastest first sector of all in car number 2, Cadillac.
Wow.
Could this be a Cadillac front row?
Cadillac front row. Astonishing. Edek Sports, Joop van Uyten took pole, and a second later, Louis Delatraz took it back.
Staggering stuff. Brilliant
Alex
stuff.
Lynn, 22 thousandths ahead of pole at the moment. Alessandro Pierre Guidi, not even a personal best first sector. Giacomo Petrobelli ends up in third place at the line.
That's a great result for JMW Motorsport with their new car.
But Inception Racing, Brendan Iribe can just pull into the pit lane. Here's Alex Lynn.
What can he do? So out of the second chicane comes Alex Lynn as Bourdais' father watches on, thinking, maybe I didn't give this guy the credit I should have.
Can you imagine if Alex Lynn takes pole away from Sebastian Bourdais?
Is he going to walk out of here in one piece? If he does, from the Le Mans born and raised Cadillac teammate. Here we go, second sector coming up.
Pierre Guidi is nowhere near, and Alex Lynn 4 tenths back. There's Antonio Fuoco behind him. No, Fuoco's in the pit lane, so Alessandro Pierguidi is behind Alex Lynn on the road.
He's behind Alex Lynn on the road, but he's just overtaken him in terms of the potential lap time. He was down on Lynn in the first sector. He's way up on Lynn in the second sector. But look at Kevin Estre. He's in the mix. This could go the other way. This is still not done.
He's got a nice toe here as well. Is this a P2 car in front of him? It is. So, well, we go back to Alex Lynn. I fear for him it's not going to happen because he's almost 5/10 away by that second sector. But if Estre picks up a real tasty toe here and gets past that LMP2 before the Indianapolis section, he could be on for pole position here.
No, the car in front of him is Alessandro Pierguidi.
McLaren on pole and LMGT3 confirmed.
Wow.
No, so this is Estre. So he's overtaken the P2 car.
Yep.
So yes, now Pierguidi's in front of him. But wait, and he's overtaken. Where did it happen? Did he get held up by him? Or did he benefit from that toe?
Keep pushing. We'll finish this lap.
No kidding, really?
No. Really?
What happened into Indianapolis, though?
Here comes Alex Lynn. Alex Lynn, potential for the moment to go on to the front row of this race.
Yeah. Alex Lynn from 6th position behind is
goes pole! Goes on pole!
My goodness!
That final sector!
Lynn. So it's Cadillac 1-2. Alex Lynn from Sebastian Bourdais. Is it going to be a Penske pole at Le Mans, the first ever for Roger Penske?
He launched it through that final chicane. What's it going to be?
Was it legal? It is pole for the moment. Listen to the crowd.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable scenes.
Was it legal? Exit of the final chicane. All 4 wheels must be, or they can't be outside the white line. That's insane.
That final sector from both Lynn and then Estre, he nailed that final series of chicanes in the 4th chicane. Brilliant stuff. So he must have got that P2 car before Indianapolis and benefited from the slipstream. Championship leaders, Le Mans pole position holders, for now at least, will look for those track limits.
Alex Lynn was half a second quicker than Pierguidi in that final sector. That's a mighty leap there. But at the moment, Estre, there's no sign of him having that taken away from him.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
In Le Mans, if there's anything I've learned from this race,
that's P1,
never
that's
celebrate
P1.
too soon.
Yeah.
You have to wait to the checkered flag at Le Mans.
And Bourdais was absolutely right. You know, 7.5 minutes. Everybody's got another.
So we stay on the full course yellow, 3rd gear, save maximum of fuel, and we are going to finish this lap on E-drive.
Save the maximum of fuel, finish on E-drive. They were on fumes as well.
That's how tight it was.
Wow.
Oh, so close. What a great job.
But Cadillac, 2nd and 3rd, as long as the exit of the final corner was legal. And again, as you said, we're not seeing anything to say that it was not.
Well, last year, on pace, so much of it was about, can an LMH and LMDH car be balanced? Yes, yes they can.
So we stay on the full course yellow, 3rd gear, save maximum of fuel, and we are going to finish this lap on E-drive.
This feels good. Amazing.
And
lest we forget, Inception Racing take pole position in LMGT3. Hello, McLaren France. So Brendan Aree, brilliant stuff from the American there. We said he was going to enjoy coming to Le Mans in his favourite car. Boys, he's done that. AO by TF, the 14 car. That car takes pole position in LMP2. Thomas Loudenbach delighted with that. Kevin Estre with the 6 Porsche Penske Motorsport car takes pole position for Porsche.
Porsche's first pole since
2017.
Yeah, I would think.
Estre did that on a set of 5-lap-old tyres.
Wow.
Yeah, but so did Bourdais, 3rd push lap.
That's what that feels like for Antonio Giovinazzi. They would have been expecting better than that. They've got 1 car on the 2nd row.
Well, listen, Alessandro Pierguidi is 4th. And to hark back a couple of years to the words of Antonio Felix da Costa, I've got 24 hours to pass 3 cars. That's the race.
Copy. Oh, amazing car.
See this
amazing
again.
Car. Thank you.
It's the exit
That's
of
number
the
6, huh?
final element.
That's number 6.
It is, baby, it is. It's a great car, but it's a great driver too. Great drive.
Legal.
It's close.
Legal.
I think he's in.
I think he's legal.
Right rear,
is in.
stayed legal.
Did you see that final couple of corners though?
Unreal.
He was sliding around like it was some ice rally car or something.
Yep.
Well, we've seen it before from Kevin Estre, haven't we? Utter brilliance or disaster. Utter brilliance today. So, he is the epitome of a modern racing driver, always on the edge, and I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Fantastic. What a hyperpole that was.
A little bit breathless. Well, we are due to go into our final free practice session at 9:45 local. We've now been told that it's not going to start until 10:30, I believe, because, well, we're already past the gap that they need. We were due to finish this Hyperpole session 20 minutes ago on track. So I think everything else is starting a little bit later than that.
I think we'd be missing a trick if we didn't turn at this point to Rob Bell with his background at McLaren. It is a first ever pole position in any class from McLaren. Rob, tell us a little bit about what that will mean to everybody involved in that programme.
It's absolute. We're delighted with that. I mean, you know, we've all of us been a part of that programme for a number of years now, and you know, to get here back at the first time we've been back here for so long, and it's, look, we all know it's a long race, it's a 24-hour race, but actually just to put ourselves back on the map, what a lap by Brendan. You know, actually looking at it, don't forget his first attempt was taken away with track limits, then he had another go, then there was the red flag, and look, he actually went quicker on the last lap, so he actually did his quickest lap on the last lap, so he produced the goods. And it's absolutely fantastic for McLaren, amazing for Inception Racing, and what a journey they've been on. And actually, what I would say is a journey we've all been on, developing this 720 GT3. However, we've seen Brendan come from our in-house pure racing series, from an absolute novice, never gone racing, and he's raced McLarens all the way up, and now he's sitting on pole position at Le Mans. Wow, what an amazing day for them.
History stuff, great stuff. Thanks for that, Rob Bell. Also, great day for AO Racing for the United States. PJ Hyatt putting that car into Hyperpole. Sorry, it wasn't. It was Louis Delatraz, wasn't it? But Louis Delatraz producing the goods again. TF Sport with another pole position for the British team, this time in LMP2, but no getting away from it, guys. The story of the night was that last couple of laps where we saw what looked like a nailed-in pole position for Sébastien Bourdais, beaten initially by a stunning lap from Alex Lynn, and then Kevin Estre from basically nowhere coming into that second part of the session.
I didn't want to just expect Bourdais to be on pole position. I had a feeling. First of all, I thought that it would come from Ferrari, and when Franco messed up that first couple of corners, I thought maybe Bourdais would be okay when the threat wasn't there from Guidi, from Pierre Guidi. But yeah, when I saw that first sector from Lynn, and of course in the sister car to Bourdais, I knew it was on, but I didn't expect that final sector to be so strong. Once I saw Lynn drop the second sector, but Kevin Estre, for me, that was the biggest surprise of all, because we haven't seen that pace from them all week so far. I mean, yes, they've always been in a bit of traffic, and we came into this with a bit of unknown, but I knew Estre could possibly pull something out of that final sector.
It will be Porsche and Cadillac on the front row for the 2024 24 Hours of Le Mans. It will be Cadillac and Ferrari on row 2. Row 3 will be Ferrari and Alpine.
The one thing you have to say, I said it at the time, you can't celebrate too soon at this track, whether it's qualifying or the race.
We pull your leg about 2016, doesn't it show that? Doesn't it show that, if nothing else at all? The race decides, the track decides, but my God, there, Kevin Estre put his hat in the ring and he decided.
He really did. It's mega to watch. Absolutely brilliant stuff.
This is the grid for the or the overall classification after qualifying for the 24 Hours of Le Mans in 2024. And boy, have we got a race on our hands on Saturday and Sunday, gentlemen.
We really do. By the way, Kevin Estre is only at Indianapolis right now. He's still bringing the car back.
E-power.
E-power, yeah. Saving the fuel, sipping it out. He's turned the engine off, hasn't he, completely?
Yeah, no, there is no fuel to save. It is coming back entirely on electrical drive. There is Roger Penske, his first pole at Le Mans.
Amazing stuff. The storylines just keep coming in this era, and it's such a delight to watch it. It's such a privilege to be part of it. And more people are being drawn to the drama that this is producing.
Well, the one thing that this set of rules particularly has allowed is for Roger Penske, who has been racing sports cars as a driver and as a team owner since the early 1960s, to bring a team here. When they were racing the Porsche LMP2 cars, they never came and raced them at Le Mans. They were raced at Le Mans, but Penske didn't. And so for Penske, this is a lifelong dream.
This is the pole lap then. So into turn one we go. Lift, get the car straight. The rear really slides on him. So well controlled there. Unbelievable stuff. What caught Fuoco out didn't catch Estre out. I was surprised to see that on the pole lap. Now into the next, left and right. Get the rear in check once again. That's usually where the rear goes light. Then you've got Tetra Rouge coming up. Turn 7. Get the curb on the inside. Then use everything you've got on the outside and keep it within track limits. Perfectly done there by Estre. I can see now why it was such a strong first sector. Now we hammer down towards the first chicane. Eyes to the left-hand side. Eventually you'll see some blue signs coming up. They're the braking marker boards. Here we go. Here they are. 200 meters, 100 meters coming up. Stand on the brake pedal, get the curb on the right-hand side, down into second gear, flick the car left, use all the track on the right-hand side. Track limits don't count for that one because you've got a gravel trap and curb on the right-hand side. Now you've got the second chicane coming up. It's the same but in reverse. Left-hander first, so bring the car to the right-hand side. This time you're looking to the right for those blue boards coming up once again. You've got that car in front of you. That's the LMP2 car that we're going to pick up a tow from later on. Brake as late as you can. Send the car into the corner. You can see the rear wrestling the whole way through. That right-hander is unbelievable driving and reflexes here from Estre. Not the kind of grip that I was expecting to see. Up and over the crest we go to Mulsanne corner. The right-hand kink comes at you. Brake just as you go into that kink.
Fuel warning light came on.
Exactly, it's the lift and coast light. So yeah, this gives the driver a sign, and nicely done there, up and over the curb on the exit as early as you can on the power. You haven't got four-wheel drive at that speed, don't forget. It comes in much later than that in these hybrid cars these days at 190 kph. Now, this is a bit I wanted to see. The LMP2 car. You're getting closer and closer. You're willing it on, willing the car on. Come on, get in before the corner, get in before the corner. The camera breaks up. What's it going to be? He's compromised, you know. He's had to stick to the right-hand side. This lap could have been even faster. The rear really complaining once again. He's comfortable with it, though, isn't he? Once again, those lift and coast lights come on before the slowest corner on the track. Arnage bounce over the curb momentarily on the right-hand side. Then get on Powell. We've got the Porsche curves coming up. Is he going to stay to the left-hand side of the track to minimize the distance? Yes, he does. Let it release on the exit there. Now, focus for that right-hand corner coming up. Get the car straight before you brake and tip the car into the right-hander. Keep it tight, and then flat out through the left-hand corner that comes up here. The rear still dancing around. I wanted to hear if he was flat there. I think he was, you know, in that second left-hander. This is where it all went wrong for Kobayashi yesterday. Get close to the baguette curbs on the left-hand side and open up karting as much as you can as you come out the Porsche curves. Use the right-hand side of the track, the pit lane momentarily, to fling the car across the curbs to the left, then the right. Slow it all down for the next left and right. The rear almost got away from him there. And what a lap. Such impressive driving on an old set of tyres. Pole position. Kevin Estre, I applaud you, mate. Brilliant driving.
Wow. Did he breathe, do you think, in that entire 3 minutes and 25 seconds? I'm not sure he did.
Brilliant stuff, and well done with that. Would say, by the way, the order as we see them here is not going to be the grid positions for those cars. It will be Sébastien Bourdais on the front row. That's because of the decision that was made at Spa that the number 2 car will get a 5-place grid drop after causing the accident, the red flag at Spa.
Look at this in slow motion. I mean,
this is nuts.
It's almost laughable how loose the car was throughout the entire lap. If anyone was going to handle a car like that, it'd be him.
Has he got a future in rally driving, do you think?
Have you ever watched that?
Did.
Have you ever watched that Nürburgring lap that he's done in the Porsche 911 in the absolute pouring rain, and you're wincing every step of the way? If you haven't watched it, anyone watching this now, go on YouTube, find it, and your mouth will be wide open the entire lap, dripping onto your seat.
In the early days of him in GT3, there's another lap at the Nürburgring where he took the fastest lap in a McLaren, and a much earlier McLaren, and my God, it is possibly the most committed lap of any driver I've ever seen anywhere. Hats off, by the way, to both the Cadillac drivers. Yeah. Utterly astonishing. We'd never have guessed that they would be where they were in this session.
Brilliant stuff. I mean, Bourdais, and he hit the track early, didn't he, as well? He was impeccable in where he placed the car. Didn't get a proper run at it in the second run. I would love to see what he could have done. It wasn't really a fair fight in that regard. Alex Lynn, like you say, he carries that penalty. I'd forgotten about that. Good point. But yeah, that last sector from Lynn was stunning as well.
World class. A world-class lap from all 3 of those guys at the top of that timing and scoring.
And Alpine, a brand new car with 3 races under its belt. Ahead of it, Porsches have been racing into their 2nd season. Cadillac in their 2nd season. Ferrari in their 2nd season. The Alpine, 6th fastest, will start 5th on the grid. That car has got speed.
It's 4th race.
Yeah.
It's 4th race.
Now, whether it's got longevity, who knows? Ferrari had no clue whether they were going to even finish the race, never mind healthily last year. They ended up winning it. I'm not saying that that's the potential, but every car that starts on the grid, that is the potential.
Cracking lap, by the way, from Jan van Uitert in this 28 car. Brought that car up from the back of the LMP2 order in this session to the top briefly before that was taken away again by Louis Delatraz, who improved in this car. Spike, the Dragon, the number 14 car from AO Racing with TF Sport, cracking stuff.
Yeah, brilliant effort from both drivers, and you know, it took 2 or 3 seconds for that pole to change hands. Joop van Uitert was the pole man until literally the next car that was almost pushing him along came through. JMW Motorsport, they claimed 3rd place, 2nd place, I beg your pardon. No, 3rd place it was with Giacomo Petrobelli. And again, for a car that's not raced in the championship all season, that's a really good effort from Petrobelli.
Yeah, 15 appearances at Le Mans in 16 years for JMW Motorsport, and their 5th different car in that history. Alex Manikin, I'd have put good money on him being on pole position in LMGT3, and I was wrong. Yep. Didn't quite get it together, had a couple of laps lost to a little bit of ill discipline on track limits, but it was Brendan Aribe with an absolutely corking lap, completely committed and bringing home pole position in LMGT3 for McLaren.
And not just one. He defended it in the second runs and improved. I mean, that's the mark of it, and that is how different Brendan Aribe is from when we first saw him here at Le Mans. He has come on so strongly, and you know, there's the team.
Yep.
They are rightly absolutely jubilant. Freddie Shandorfer there in the cap in the centre. Ollie Milroy, his driver coach, and
Buzz Linders there on the left-hand side. Inception is the brand they race under. There's Gunnar Jeanette from AO Racing. Inception is the brand they race under, but big up Optimum Motorsport from Yorkshire. They're the team behind this effort and continue to provide Brendan Aribe and his colleagues with exactly what they want.
Here are our Hyperpole pole sitters. The top 3 cars in the top car in each of our 3 classes. In Hypercar, it is Kevin Escher in the number 6 Porsche Penske Motorsport 963. In LMP2, it is Louis Delatraz in the AO by TF Orica Gibson. And in LMGT3. It is Brendan Iribe in the Inception race in McLaren 720S. What? I mean, absolutely standout efforts by all three drivers. It was hardly easy going for anybody. It was absolutely edge of the seat stuff all the way through. Despite the red flag in the middle, it came back and just produced even more edge of the seat drama.
Well, under even more pressure in that second part of the session, all three pole times improved, and several of them improved more than once.
Yeah, huge pressure on all the drivers there. They were desperate to try and get back up to speed. And once you're in the groove, and you have that red flag.
Messieurs, ladies
Very
and
tough.
gentlemen, welcome to all of you. That was the Hyperpole 24 du Mans 2024 with Kevin Estre. Mesdames et messieurs, nous avons le grand plaisir de retrouver avec nous Pierre Fillon, président de l'Automobile Club de l'Ouest. Président, nous avons vécu une séance Hyperpole absolument extraordinaire, très spectaculaire. It was really sincerely great.
Oui, on a vécu un grand moment de sport, un moment de sport exceptionnel. Cette Hyperpole a tenu toutes ses promesses. On a eu une bagarre vraiment importante sur la piste et ça s'est joué à très peu. On a eu un moment, on a cru que c'était joué après le red flag et puis non. Tout le monde est reparti et il y a eu une bagarre jusqu'au bout, du suspense et au final, ça augure d'une course qui va être absolument magnifique.
Absolument, merci beaucoup Pierre Fillon. Kazuki Nakajima, please, a question to the Grand Marshal of the 24 du Mans. What do you think of the Hyperpole session tonight for the spectators? It was honestly great.
I think it was very exciting and so unpredictable. And Kevin, I think he managed to pull out everything out of one chance. So I have a big respect to Kevin, yeah.
Merci beaucoup, thank you very much. Mesdames et messieurs, les pilotes ont quitté les voitures. Il est l'homme de l'Hyperpole des 24 heures du Mans 2024 avec la Porsche. Kevin Estre, please a round of applause. Mesdames et messieurs, applaudissez Kevin Estre très très fort. La catégorie GT3 avec une McLaren, Brendan Iribe et Louis Deltra qui sera en effet le pilote de l'Hyperpole pour la catégorie LMP2. Ce que je vais vous proposer de faire et faire naturellement aussi pour les pilotes, alors que dans la catégorie P2 en effet nous aurons la numéro 14 avec Louis Deltra qui est le pilote de l'Hyperpole, c'est de proposer également, on va suivre cette scène-là ensemble, aux pilotes de la Porsche numéro 6 de se retrouver effectivement. Mais mon cher Kevin Estre, peut-être si vous le voulez, voilà, vous retrouvez déjà ici devant votre voiture l'Hypercar. Nous allons, mesdames et messieurs, demander à Louis Deltra également qui est là, voilà, de se mettre ici au niveau de la borne LMP2. Et mesdames et messieurs, Brendan Iribe qui est le pilote de l'Hyperpole pour la catégorie LMGT3. Les trophées, mais vous avez raison de les applaudir très très fort. Please applaud them again. La remise des trophées. Et pour accompagner cela, je vais demander à Francis Chameau. Please, Francis Chameau for Porsche to join now Kevin Estre for the presentation of the trophy for Porsche Penske Motorsports. Je vais demander également au niveau de l'équipage avec la numéro 14. On va retrouver le team manager qui va nous rejoindre dans un instant, Gunnar Janet. Et puis, mesdames et messieurs, Gunnar Janet peut aussi retrouver, voilà, à côté de l'Oreca numéro 14, Bas Linders maintenant pour Inception, les team managers. Et maintenant, les trophées. Je vous en prie, mesdames et messieurs, Pierre Fillon et Kazuki Nakajima. Now the trophies presented by for Porsche. Pierre Fillon, the ACO president, and to the driver successful in the Hyperpole this year, Kevin Estre, trophy presented by Kazuki Nakajima.
I'm glad I finished because I needed a good lap. The other lap was not good.
Now the LMGT3 class. Je vais vous demander, président Pierre Fillon, I'd like to ask you, Kazuki Nakajima, again to take the trophy and to please hand over them. Pierre Fillon, vous allez pouvoir remettre ce trophée au manager de la McLaren Inception. Mesdames et messieurs, il vient de Belgique. C'est effectivement la McLaren, le team managé par Bas Linders et Brendan Iribe, mesdames et messieurs. Yeah! Et enfin, mesdames et messieurs, and now for the LMP2 class. Yes, it's a pleasure now to present the trophies with Kazuki Nakajima and Pierre Fillon. Et effectivement, mesdames et messieurs, le trophée concurrent, ce sera effectivement Gunnar Janet qui va le recevoir. Hyperpole for A or by TF. And now, ladies and gentlemen, presented by Kazuki Nakajima for the Hyperpole session. Driver who is okay, who is successful tonight, Louis Deltra. Thank you, Pierre Fillon. Thank you, Kazuki Nakajima. Now, gentlemen, please take your trophy. Each of you, take your trophy and raise your trophy. Applaudissements, mesdames et messieurs. A une première fois parlé. This is the magic of Le Mans with the Hyperpole session. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to propose Kevin S to place you. S'il vous plaît, cher Kevin, placez-vous devant le micro, voilà, qui est là. Ce micro, juste là pour répondre à nos questions. Voilà, Kevin S, nous demandez de vous placer devant le micro. Non, celui qui est là. Voilà, on va faire un petit selfie si vous voulez. Mais mon cher Kevin, placez-vous à ce micro qui est là. Mesdames et messieurs, on peut applaudir le premier Français au passage pour l'Hyperpole, le classement général. C'est Kevin Estre. Kevin, I would like to ask you so many questions, but one. How do you feel at the moment? How is it to be successful in this Hyperpole session? So exciting. Was it a big effort of concentration? Did you have the perfect lap? We want to know everything. Tell us.
Yeah, no, it was a very, very tough session. As quali has been always this year, a lot of things going on, red flag, trying to save fuel, keep the tire warm, restarting, trying to manage the traffic, not having a lot of fuel in the car. So it was it was quite stressful, but I had mega guidance by the pit wall. The car was amazing to drive. Definitely it came alive at the end with less fuel, and I did a very, very good lap. I think I had to pass an LMP2 in Indy, but I think it was Louis almost, and it cost me a bit of time in the corner, but I gained some time in the slipstream. Otherwise, I think the lap was almost perfect. So it feels really good to stand here. It's my only race in France at home. So to achieve the pole there on the biggest race in the world is something special. But thanks a lot to the whole team, which made a mega job. Compared to where we were last year, it's just another world, and I can't thank this guy enough. And now we have 24 hours ahead of us. So this was nice and good, but now we have to stay in front.
Kevin Estre, le public de France a envie de vous entendre exprimer ce que vous ressentez. Grande satisfaction, naturellement, ce soir. L'Hyperpole, 24 heures du Mans, Hypercar, elle est pour vous.
Ouais, merci beaucoup. Non, ça a été une super séance, très difficile. Gérer le trafic, gérer le drapeau rouge. Pas beaucoup d'essence dans la voiture, on savait que ça allait être short pour faire 2 tours après le drapeau rouge. On est parti pour en faire un et finalement on a lancé le deuxième et il était très bon. C'était pas loin d'être le tour parfait. J'ai dû doubler une LMP2 dans Indianapolis, mais il m'a donné un petit peu d'aspiration avant. Donc on va dire j'ai gagné un peu à un moment et j'ai perdu un peu à un autre. Mais non, super, vraiment très content d'en être là. On était très loin de cette performance-là l'année dernière. Le team a vraiment bien bossé tout au long de l'année dernière, dans l'hiver. Et on est arrivé cette année très fort déjà au Qatar. Et voilà, j'ai une super voiture. Je suis arrivé à faire le tour et je suis très fier de ce qu'on a accompli aujourd'hui. Mais samedi, il y a 24 heures devant nous.
Public des 24 heures du Mans, merci d'applaudir encore très très fort Kevin Estre. Brendan Araby. Congratulations to you, dear Brendan. At the end, everything is okay because you had a spin in this Hyperpole session. 1995 for victory of McLaren at Le Mans. McLaren is back and you are successful in the Hyperpole. I suppose it is also for you a great feeling, great satisfaction. Tell us.
Big time. I mean, this is, it's an honor just to be here and be in this race. And to actually get pole is really a dream come true. I actually never even imagined we would be on pole. So it's really an incredible feeling. I got to thank the entire team that got us here, especially my coach and longtime teammate, Ali Milroy. We started in GT4 5 years ago, and to go from not being in a race car to being pole in Le Mans in a few years is just an incredible journey. So thank you, Ali. And thank you, Freddie. We call him Fast Freddy because we only got to Hyperpole because of Freddie. And the entire Inception team, Baz, who's brought us here over the years, and everybody at Inception, everybody at McLaren. McLaren, this is the first year back in 26 years, I think, and McLaren's on pole, so it doesn't get better than that.
Thank you very much, Brandon Ireby avec la McLaren Inception. Vous pouvez encore l'applaudir aussi très très fort. Louis Deltra, congratulations to you, so successful in IMSA this season. As all the LMP2 cars are the same, how could you yourself do the difference?
I mean, yeah, first of all, big thank you to all the team at AO and NTF. It's fantastic to be able to do Hyperpole. There's no traffic, Le Mans at its best, and I mean that was really fantastic. So to put it on pole like this, the lap was very good and the car too, so I was super happy after it.
Louis, un mot en français pour évidemment exprimer votre satisfaction également ce soir. Voilà, c'est une première victoire. Le Big One, c'est ce week-end. On sait ce que vous espérez dimanche à 16h. Mais ce soir, évidemment, une grande satisfaction pour vous d'avoir placé la 14 en Hyperpole de l'MP2.
C'est sûr que faire la pole, c'est fantastique. Maintenant, on est concentré sur la course. Mon but et le but de l'équipe, c'est de finir premier dimanche à 14h, à 16h. Et donc, voilà, on va travailler pour. Il y a encore une session de nuit. Mais c'est vrai que voilà, aujourd'hui, la voiture était très rapide. D'avoir la piste du Mans comme ça, sans trafic et en low fuel avec des pneus neufs, c'est magique. Et voilà, cette pole position, elle est belle.
Merci beaucoup, Louis Deltra. Mesdames et messieurs, public des 24 heures du Mans, tout ça, c'est également fait pour vous. Merci d'applaudir encore très très fort tous les équipages déjà hier en qualification, ce soir en Hyperpole. Le prochain rendez-vous, il est évidemment ce samedi 15 juin à 16h. C'était l'Hyperpole des 24 heures du Mans. Merci à vous.
Well, there you go. That is the Hyperpole ceremony. You heard from all three of our drivers. Kevin Estre just saying there again to the French crowd, got a little bit of that slipstream from the LMP2 car. That helped him on the run up to Indianapolis. Gained a little bit there, lost a little bit in Indy itself. But it is the first Penske Motorsport pole at Le Mans, ahead of the number 3 Cadillac, then the 2 Ferraris, 3rd and 4th on the grid because of a 5-place grid penalty for the accident in Spa for the number 2 car. So Alpine start 5th, BMW start 6th, then the number 2 Cadillac in 7th place, and Hertz Team Jota, assuming the car is all in one piece by Saturday morning, will start in 8th place. From there on down, in each of the categories outside the top 8, those positions are already sorted. So Alpine and the second of the Penske Porsches, the better of the 2 Toyotas, and the AF Corsa 83 Ferrari line up on row 6. On row 7, the better of the 2 Lamborghinis, the 63 full season entry ahead of Proton's 99 Porsche, and in 15th place, the better of the 2 Peugeots, 93 starts ahead of the BMW Art car on row 8. Row 9, Hertz Team Jota's 38 car with the Whelan Caddy. Now that car very quick again in free practice. Don't forget that most of these cars have teammates or sister cars that made it into Hyperpole because they got cleaner laps. So it's not necessarily a reflection of their pace, although in the case of the Jota, it probably is. They start last, bar one in Hyperpole. The car that starts last of all in Hypercar rather is the number 7 car. But pole position for AO by TF in LMP2 from Edex Sport by a whisker and a nanosecond at the line. Panis Racing line up in third ahead of the better of the 2 United cars. They are on row 14 of the grid, side by each. Cool Racing's 37 on row 15 along with the number 33 car from DKR Engineering. Then Vector Sport and the 183 car from AF Corsa on row 16. Row 17 of the grid features Nielsen's LMP2 car and the 34 from Inter Europol. And then Proton competition with Duquesne on row 35th and 36th starting positions. The second Cool car starts 37th and the Algarve Pro start in 38th. The second car run by Algarve Pro, the CrowdStrike car, is the final car in LMP2. And Inception will start at the outside of row 20 on pole in GT3. Manthey, Pure Racing and JMW are second and third in the category ahead of Proton and Harter Racing. So 5 different brands in the top 5. D Stations Aston and the better of the 2 Corvettes start 45th and 46th. The Iron Lynx Lamborghini starts ahead of the sister car of the Iron Dames. And then the better of the 2 Lexuses entered by Acodis ASP ahead of the 59 car from United Autosports. Better of the 2 BMWs starts in 51st place. That's the 46 car from WRT ahead of the 54 Vista AF Corsa Ferrari. And then Proton's second Mustang, this time in yellow rather than black. And the UFO Jeans liveried 31 BMW. Manthey EMA start 55th ahead of the Black 88 Proton competition Mustang and the 81 TF Sport. I'm going to say Aston Martin because that's a force of habit. I mean Corvette ahead of the second United Autosports car. Then Spirit of Race Ferrari from the second car in the Acodis ASP team. That is row 30. Vista AF Corsa's 55 car ahead of the GR Racing. So an all Ferrari row 31. And that is 62 cars. And GR Racing car did not set a time. It starts last of all. Well, that is Hyperpole. We have free practice 4 still to come, the final track action. But we, for now, are done for a moment.